The standard view. After 1, 2, 3. Okay. In Singer's version of the argument from analogy, the idea is that I infer sentience slash consciousness in others on the basis that they exhibit similarities to me in certain respects. A less solipsistic version of the argument takes for granted that other human beings are at least conscious, with regards, for instance, to animal pain, since humans may scream and struggle when in pain. If we observe a dog squealing and struggling in conditions which humans would find painful, we infer that the dog feels pains too. A broad interpretation of the argument considers different categories of properties. My bad. Um, if we observe a dog squealing and suffering in conditions which humans would find painful, we infer that the dog feels pain too. You're just making the most noise as possible, right? To turn on your microwave, everything. Oh God, bruh. Die. Okay, my bad, twin. And struggling in conditions which humans would find painful, we infer that the dog feels pain too. A broader interpretation of the argument considers different categories of properties, including behavior, neuropsychological, and He's making noise with the curtains too, buddy. Like, damn. I know nobody watching this shit, bro. Damn. Can I get the quality good? Shit, bro. Damn. Sure, buddy. You sound like how you look. And evolutionary continuity, pointing to the same conclusion in the case at hand. While human beings and dogs possess a nervous system. Need the drawing pen. Make sure I'm getting this information down correctly. I need I can't find my. You know, pen there. Where's my pen? Hey, you ain't if no aid or resistance. Man, I'll do without my pen. It doesn't matter. Oh, okay. Oh, good for you. Okay. Human beings and dogs possess a nervous system, non-separators, and neural pathways. Response to allogestia, I don't know how to pronounce that, exhibits pain behaviors, learn to avoid pain stimuli, and are relatively evolutionary close. Both are mammals. Two human beings feel pain, therefore dogs feel pain too. The more phylogenetically, anatomically, behaviorally distinct from us, the species, the fewer the similarities, and the more uncertain becomes the inference. Challenge to the standard view. This standard definition of sentience as a capacity to feel pleasure and pain faces several significant challenges. Even Singer recognizes that pain faces several significant challenges. Even Singer recognizes Wait, even Singer recognizes that his definition of sentience is not strictly accurate. I will argue that is that its adoption has created confusion, moving away from the original broader understanding of sentience as a phenomenal consciousness, with its epistemic and ethical implications. To begin with, the standard definition is narrow. Pleasure and pain refer to two categories of effect which may color our experiences. While admittedly significant in the life of a sentient creature, they certainly are not coextensive with the entire field of experience. I close my case. They become the exclusive target of moral obligation, which are tantamount to increase in pleasure and decrease in pain, regardless of the being. As Singer states, I hope lightning strikes you down, buddy. You know what? I'm petty. If you know what, God, kill me and this imbecile. No. Um. Ayo. Ayo is loyal. Also. Yeah, dude, just shut up. You're not helping. You're not helping. Whatever, bro. To continue my articulation of the subject at hand. The capacity to suffer and enjoy is a prerequisite of having an interest of all. The focus is on the quality of experience. Yeah, just Ian, you're such a big back, bro. Like, come on, man. If you had to eat that, eat it with corn or something. Get the extra calories in, fibers. Bro, at least put salt or something. Rice tea is so plain. Boo. After laughter comes tears. Back to reading, bro. I need to prepare for this debate. Laughter. Shh. Shh. The focus. As Singer states, the capacity for suffering and enjoyment is a prerequisite for having interest at all. The focus is on the quality of the experience instantiated as a requirement for moral consideration, rather than the experiencer herself as inherently valuable, since in Singer's world, sentient beings are merely receptacles for containing a certain quality of pleasure. Singer's use of the term receptacle suggests a separability of sentient beings as containers from some of its contents, or its modifications, a point also noted by Reagan and Korsgaard. Yet it seems misleading to reify sentience as an attribute abstracted from the experiencing subject as a receptacle, since it refers to the whole field of experience with its first-person mode of presentation, its tonality, rather than merely to some of its content. Arguably, sentience cannot be conceived separately from a subject. Hence, if sentience is of value, this value is not attached merely to the narrow categorizations or categories of tonalities of experiences, of pleasure and pain, but rather to the experience in being. If sentience is not a detachable attribute, but an intrinsic aspect of the being, when speaking of sentience, we are referring to the experience in being herself. Next is the epistemic issue as the inferential model. While widely endorsed, does not seem to reflect how we actually recognize other beings as sentient. In the phenomenology tradition, as Zahavi 2014 rejects the idea that we can only access mere behavior, and that the ascription of mental states to other beings or other involve an inference from what is given in experience to unobservable entities, in favor of an account holding that we can be directly and immediately acquainted with the mental states of others. Similarly, for Jameson, the mistake lies in the assumption that mental states are hidden entities whose existence can only be inferred from behavior. He argues that animal behavior is not a set of premises supporting an inference. Rather, he closes the connection between observation of behavior and attribution of mental states is often perceptual rather than inferential. Just as I can see the emotions on a person's face rather than inference them from contractions of the relevant muscles. By the same token, I experience my dog's happy states directly in her wagging tail, facial expressions, and whole posture. Thus, a plausible alternative twinning them. Lost the page. Where's the page? Alternative. Thus, a possible alternative to the argument from analogy is that we directly see others as minded, that we recognize others as sentient non-inferentially, and that this recognition as a primitive or fundamental mode of interaction does not need justification. Jason 1998 provides a crucial distinction between recognizing another being as sentient and accessing the specific content or quality of their experiences. While we may have direct, non-inferential access to the presence of another's consciousness, its specific content can remain more or less opaque to us at any given moment. Although conceding that the analogous argument may be implausible as an explanation of how we come to recognize others as sentient, Perret 1997 defends it as a necessary and robust justification for our belief in animal sentience. The issue of justification is both too complex and beyond the scope of the present article to adequately address. However, I suggest while the argument from an analogy may be useful aid for some specific context, its necessity and reliability can be questioned. First, the very requirement from the argument from analogy as justification stems from a fundamental distrust of our direct experiential evidence of the consciousness of others. The argument assumes a skeptical stance. Since we cannot directly experience others as conscious, we must rely on inference from analogy to justify our belief in their sentience. Yet the view that the ability to recognize sentience as a crucial practice of everyday life requires philosophical justification is not uncontroversial, as it itself is a metaphysical assumption in need of justification. See also James 1998. This skeptical stance is arguably the legacy of Cartesian mechanistic metaphysics, which has led us to doubt and withhold our immediate perceptual recognition of sentience, at least in some being, thereby demanding justification for what is a direct experience. But by adhering to this framework, we may be creating an artificial epistemic gap that the argument from analogy struggles to bridge. Hence, accepting need for the argument implies a more tedious grasp of sentience for others against the overwhelming evidence of everyday experience. Turning to this stance on its head, one can argue that the direct recognition of sentience does not require inferential justification, as it's not a conceptual belief in need of validation, but rather an experiential given similar to how we access our own consciousness, albeit without the full transparency of its own contents. Second, if sentience as consciousness has to be inferred from objective features, this involves a form of inductive reasoning, which by definition implies a certain degree of uncertainty and becomes a weaker as the dissimilarity increase. David Cockburn. Imagine being born with that name, bro. That's crazy. I low key end my life if I was given the name Cockburn. Is that the assertion of the mind requires a pre-existing opening and ethical attunement. Perret 1997 offers several objections to Cockburn's position. Two are especially relevant to our purpose. First, he rejects the idea that the ascription of mind requires an ethical framework by using the sadist as a counterexample. Surely he is able to recognize sentience in the absence of any ethical concern. Second, though acknowledging that the argument from analogy as a form of inductive reasoning cannot establish with certainty other minds existed, he rightly argues that it would be inconsistent to accept that the argument in the case of humans but not in the others for animals. And it counters that the success of an argument is not to be measured by its ability to persuade the skeptic, but rather in providing a reasonable justification for a belief. After all, the hypothetical response of the white slave driver in the above example is unreasonable by our own standards. So is the idea that the dog may not be conscious. Using a thought experiment, Perret questions whether a radical change in bodily structures, such as having one's vocal expressions altered to those of a dog, would affect one's capacity to feel pain. If one still feels pain despite these changes, then this suggests that such a transformation do not undermine the validity of the argument from analogy when applied to other species. species. If we accept that bodily changes do not affect the capacity to experience pain, then the radical difference between human and dog bodies should not lead us to deny that dogs can feel pain or that the behaviors are genuine pain responses. Concerning the first objection, Cockburn might reply that the saddest ascription of pain lacks ethical context that makes such ascription meaningful, and ethical responsiveness, broadly conceived as attunement to the other, may not be an optional addition, but fundamental for a full and proper understanding of sentience. Absent of the relational and ethical framework, the saddest perception can thus be seen as epistemologically deficient, both incomplete and distorted. With regards to second point, since the weakness of the argument from analogy increases with the degree of dissimilarity from our own, or my own, or the human case, making it less compelling for beings with significantly different structures and behaviors. I'm not sure that this thoughtic experiment is really doing the work that Perrick claims. I can imagine transforming my body until it's no longer a human body. His conclusion is still not warranted. In the case of the dog, it's likely stemmed from the fact that I already know that the dog feels pain. To illustrate this, consider a more radical transformation, such as turning it into a bee. If one is not convinced that a bee feels pain, at some point in the transformation, either the capacity to imagine the transformed body feeling pain diminishes, such that the analogy breaks down, or B, one might imagine oneself as a bee feeling pain, but still not grant that actual bees feel pain, highlighting a disconnect between the imaginative exercise and attribution of pain to non-human animals. Bro is cooking. What's going on? After laughter comes tears. Paradox. Next time I'm gonna read to 12's article. People continue to grant that we have intuition, without it being all too clear that this means what intuitions are, how they work, whether they might just be products of the same different psychological processes, and so on. Note too that these uses are often philosophical contexts that differ from colloquial use of the term intuition. People have basically taken a word from everyday language, co-opted, reused in a technical use context, but there's no consensus or anything even close to it about what intuitions even are. Why do people just grant philosophers the authority to make up pseudo-psychological nonsense? Calmly Gord. What we need to do is pick a term from ordinary language, claim that it provides some defensible justification, and start using it to assert our position. How about spiritual discernment? I'm trying to get the joke here. What's the joke? Bruh, the background music makes it seem like I don't have this locked in. Where's the article? I'm watching you, slowly but surely. Laughter comes tears. Let me see this message be produced. Actually, I just go back to reading. I'll do a deeper voice. Yeah, do that. Where am I? Cockburn emphasizes on the ethical responsiveness as a fundamental to recognizing sentience in others. The ongoing scientific debate about fish sentience further illustrates this point. Despite strong analogous evidence for fish pain, they possess non-sepator receptors, non-sepator, and exhibit pain-like behaviors provided by researchers. Skepticism persists. Critics such as Rose, and Key suggest that these responses might be reflexive or indicative of non-conscious processes rather than evidence of subjective pain. Thus, while analogous reasoning might support rational belief for some, particularly concerning specific states rather than science as a whole, it has thus far failed to establish consensus and bridge the assumed epistemic gap about sentience even in fish, let alone in invertebrate. I know what this is. Like it's those small bugs with shells, bro. I can't forget. Okay, invertebrates. There you go. Suggest response to inflicted non-conscious processes rather than evidence of subjective pain. Thus, while analogous reasoning might support rational belief for some, particular concerning specific states rather than sentience as a whole, it has thus failed to establish consensus and bridge the assumed epistemic gap that sentience even in fish, the little one, invertebrates. Hey yo, you said you were confused about something. I'm right here. Wait, isn't this King Von? Wait, my thing bugged. I'm gonna rejoin.
40 bands.
Give me a second.
Maybe.
There you go.
Gosh.
I can hear you. What'd you say? What?
Yeah, I just wanted to continue our discussion from yesterday, bro.
Oh no. Okay, go ahead.
I forgot what we were talking about.
You forgot?
Like, who won that debate between those two niggas last night?
Um, according, I can just send you what the bot said because I was not tracking that too well. Okay. Uh, uh, or like 30 servers. It's hard to find where you're on. Oh, there. Check that message link and it should send you. Wait, you already
Bro,
seen it.
who the fuck destroyed my shit? Oh my. Bro, send me the.
Well, give me a second. What is this Boris clip?
What's the debate?
Oh, they were speaking about language from what I
You
can.
niggas?
I'm just quoting. Bro, what is I keep getting phone calls. Oh, bro. Why am I getting notifications? Yeah. Notifications and notifications. Like, Jesus Christ. Shit, I just-
I'm recording this message to inform everyone that I will be temporarily leaving this app. Time and time again, the com betrayed me, ridiculed me, but no matter so, I will not betray back. When I first joined 5 years ago, I sought out to have fun and debate others to eventually earn the respect of my peers and creators I respected. But unfortunately, I learned a valuable lesson about meeting your heroes. All that was to be offered to me was the disappointment of their true nature. In my early days as a rookie debater, I always acted with kindness and integrity, and yet for no reason without warning, I was bullied, harassed, and at times even brought to tears, solely due to my inadequacy to sufficiently defend myself. They decided to pick on the weak to feel strong, but now I, 5 years later, stand before you all with real strength and the ambition to grow ever more powerful. I understand the means of accountability towards one's actions, and so it ought be known that despite the error of my ways, the onus of responsibility lies within you all. I am what you made me. A once kind soul turned into an antagonistic heel with a broken spirit. Every action taken since then has been a reciprocation of energy used against me as an attempt to oppress and nullify the greatness within me I've yet to fully awaken within myself. My departure is not defeat. I've lost many battles, but the war's only begun. Time and time again, the calm has desperately tried to destroy me to no ultimate avail. This is because all of the hatred and betrayal becomes the fuel to my ambitions to rule as the king of One Piece. Not a single one of my enemies has stood the test of time in this battle of attrition, as my stamina is unmatched and unwavering. Any and all attempts to shun my excellence will only empower my undying desire to rule the debate calm. And so, to my haters who constantly wish to see me fail, make fun of my deceased mother, nuke my servers, attempt to swat me, stab my back, and prey on my downfall, I truly must thank each and every one of you, for each of you only exemplify my greatness. Psychology suggests that for those who oppress you, do so as a means to lower you to their level in the hopes you fail to notice their insecurity. Although sadly for them, I'm well aware I am the greatest server owner to ever exist, and I will do what I must to ensure the calm once again shares this belief with me. The passion that resides within me is invincible, impenetrable, and immortal. No matter how many times I fall, I will stand back up as I always, and bigger and badder than ever before. My leaving is not a surrender, so need not celebrate too early, for I am the only resting to celebrate. For I am only resting and seeking power to endeavor in my plans.
Hopefully, I don't know. Okay, what am I doing? Wasted precious time to listen to Boris. Yeah, the goats. And thank you, Mrs. Cherry.
I am recording this message to inform everyone that I will be temporarily leaving this app. Time and time again, the calm betrays me, ridicules me, but no matter so, I will not betray it back. When I first joined 5 years ago, I sought out to have fun and debate others to eventually earn the respect of my peers and creators I respected. But unfortunately, I learned a valuable lesson about meeting your heroes. All that was to be offered to me was the disappointment of their true nature. In my early days as a rookie debater, I always acted with kindness and integrity, and yet for no reason without warning, I was bullied, harassed, and at times even brought to tears, solely due to my inadequacy to sufficiently defend myself. They decided to pick on the weak to feel strong, but now I, 5 years later, stand before you all.
I can't, bro.
In my plans in order to achieve inevitable success. So least I not ever lose again. And to those who never lost faith in me or regained it somehow, I truly thank you all from the bottom of my heart, despite the darkness that resides in it. I will someday return when I am needed most. I am the One Piece King. I am mortified. I am the calm. I am recording this message to inform everyone that I will be temporarily leaving this app. Time and time again, the calm betrays me, ridicules me, but no matter so, I will not betray it back. When I first joined 5 years ago, I sought out to have fun and debate others to eventually earn the respect of my peers and creators I respected. But unfortunately, I learned.
This is copyright. Okay. That was an insanely long detour. Bees, epistemic. Yeah, where am I? Ooh. let, let alone invertebrates. The implication is that within the same epistemic framework, Perret endorses rational actors may not trust analogies to human behavior and neuropsychology to detect specific conscious experience. One might object that this applies equally, if not more so, to the distinct attribution of sentience. Even if plausible for higher animals, it surely does not apply to lower animals. While this distinction is outdated in biology, let's let it for the sake of argument's sake. Yet, even considering sources of bias, not only dissimilarity, but also lack of familiarity and perceived attractiveness, we do tend to spontaneously attribute sentience to all animals. Thus, it's not so much that we do not experience, say, spiders as sentient, but rather that we choose to deploy, and we are more likely to accept as default. Cause oh, laughter. we're we're more likely to accept as a default the skeptical stance when they are concerned. Compared to, say, a dog, this reflects the current position of many philosophers and scientists, slowly moving away from the skeptical stance when mammals and birds are concerned, while holding on to it in the case of lower vertebrates and invertebrates. But this epistemic caution more justified than in more pragmatic case. What is this epistemic caution more justified in more pragmatic cases? Model cases, exemplars. Arguing that it is not would invite a second objection, that of uncertainty or naive anthropomorphism. Shouldn't the fact that we tend to perceive in spiders as sentient reveal that our attribution of sentience is nothing but a projective error? Charitably, this skepticism may reflect a suspension of judgment based on observation that our sensitivity to sentience is not infallible, as evidenced, for instance, by children, even adults, attributing emotions and intentions to moving inanimate objects or two-dimensional figures, when the speed and direction of their movement change after direct contact with other shapes. Asserted the sentience of beings operated at very different temporal and dimensional scale from our own does pose a challenge due to our epistemic constraints. Okay. However, the disagreement of researchers on which animals are sentient depend largely on metaphysical assumptions, so it's unlikely to resolve empirically anytime soon. This is not to deny that empirical science, included the use of analogy and inferential reasoning, as well as familiarization training and the use of imaginative understanding, may be able to provide us with some valuable insight. However, fortunately, this hinges on the assumption that the vast majority of animals are indeed sentient and require an attitude of openness. Aside from narrowing of the range of experience and epistemic issue, it is very used the term capacity with its connotations, which makes Singer's definition of sentience incorrect. Indeed, the sentience as capacity construct has led several authors who deny the moral relevance of capacities to reject the foundational importance of sentience in ethics. Next, I will focus on the major objection to capacity-based approach to animal ethics. The first comes from Cora Diamond. When is dumb question. Is perfectionism the argument that one can take from whatever is a part of one's nature, the exercise and of that nature has got to be good in regards to their well-being. So perfectionism, the well-being argument, is it capacity based? What? Says your well-being consists. It's not capacity based in the simple consciousness. Sentience, you have welfare, you have pain, you have pleasure, rationality, agency, flourishing. So it's capacity based, but it's not hedonic capacity based. Like Bernstein utilitarianism, perfectionism. Okay, usually grounded in capacities. That's interesting. So I guess I can deny perfectionism. Well, couldn't I just deny most? Okay. Someday. Okay, empirically anytime soon. Analogously, and inferential reasoning as well as familiarization training used in imaginative understanding may be able to provide us with some valuable insights. However, importantly, this hinges on the assumption that the vast majority of animals are indeed sentient and require an attitude of openness. Aside from narrowing of the range of experience and the epistemic issue, it is the very use of the term capacity, with its connotations, which make Singer's definition of sentience inaccurate. Indeed, the sentience as capacity construct has led to several authors who deny the moral relevance of capacities, to reject foundational importance of sentience. I will focus on two major objections to the capacity-based approach to animal ethics. The first comes from Cora Diamond in 1991 and 1978, and Alice Carey 2016, and the second from Akir Ethic Feminist. 2.1 point. Cora Diamond. Ethical rules are not justified by capacity-based reasoning. Moral perceptions and irreducible normativity of concepts are at the core of Diamond's critique of capacity based approaches to animal ethics. Diamond 1978 holy argues that our moral response to others, both humans and non-humans, has nothing to do with their possession of individual capacities or on the interest or rights based on them. Her main argument may be reconstructed as the following. P1. According to capacity-based arguments for vegetarianism, we should not eat animals for the same reason for which we should not eat humans, i.e. they both possess interest and or rights based on the capacities which warrant protection. P2. A logical implication of capacity-based approaches to ethics is that there is nothing wrong to eat dead beings if no harm was done to them while they're alive. P3. We do not eat dead people except in extreme circumstances, and even then with great reluctance, regardless of whether they die of natural causes. Conclusion 1. Hence, our perception does not seem grounded in not wanting to harm or kill. As a result, it has nothing to do with the recognition of rights or interests grounded in capacity. C2. Conclusion 2. Singer's position is inconsistent. When he does not see anything wrong in eating of animals, but not humans, which was, say, struck by lightning. Conclusion 3. This implies the capacity-based argument for vegan vegetarianism it must be wrong. Crucially, for Diamond, the reason why humans' flesh is taboo is that a person is not something to eat, she says, rather than any consideration of the capacity for suffering or of ensuring rights in which oh my god, in which I've heard this name before, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Wittgenstein spirit. The true reason for the universe taboo against eating people are to be found within our form of life, where inedibility is fundamental feature of the meaning of the concept human being. Humans are special significance for us and continue to be even after their death. For Diamond, human being is a morally relevant, non-biological category, which does not reduce to a matter of species membership. It is our imaginative sense of what it means to have a human life, to lead, informed and conditioned by our form of life, Diamond 1991, which constitutes the source of moral evaluation. On the other hand, what matters for advocates like Singer seems simply reduced to not causing suffering, while the animal is still construed as something that can be eaten. On Diamond's view, it's not in light of significant human category and the use of our imagination that we can make sense of our moral outrage we experience in situations where capacities are not involved. To illustrate this, she provides an example of our moral outrage as we making fun of someone who is not capable of understanding that she is being treated as the object of ridicule and does not seem to suffer as a result. Who was that? Utah,
New York.
New York. Oh, okay. Is oh, save me, baby. Watch the sun as it falls down. Okay, back to him. Okay. Okay, what is this? Against ridicule does not seem to suffer as a result. Against the view of moral duties based on suffering and interest, Diamond offers a positive account of vegetarianism, occasioned by an analogous rich notion of animals as significant, as fellow creatures with whose suffering in life and death we can identify. For her, whole or moral response pertain to ethically non-neural categories, in both cases those of human beings and fellow creatures. 1978. It's worth noticing, however, that for Diamond, the notion of fellow creatures is derivative, or moral consideration of animals is always an extension of our response to other humans and requires an imagination leap. Indeed, on the assumption that other animals are not capable of making direct moral claims on us. Whenever we respond to them, we imaginatively read into animals some. Back to the drawing board. Creatures is derivative of more moral consideration of animals is always an extension of our response to humans and require imaginative leaps. Indeed, on the assumption that other animals are not capable of making direct moral claims on us, whenever we respond to them, we imaginatively read into animals something like expectations or like an appeal to our pity. In other words, perceiving the moral demands of animals requires scripting our own language on to them. 2.1.1 point. Objection to Diamond. For the purpose of the presented paper, I assume that Diamond is correct in her main analysis, that our moral responses is not based on individual capacities as brute facts of nature. My criticism here will focus specifically on her claim that A or more responses cannot be grounded on sentience based on the implicit assumption that sentience is a capacity, and B that the notion of fellow creatures as derivative from of human beings is necessarily weaker. Concerning a claim A, the issue that Diamond accepts the general understanding of sentience as a pre-moral capacity, as brute, value-free, independent of any effective, let alone moral responses to it. Epitomize. What is this? As epitomize. Oh, this is interesting. Epitomize. I look what that means. Epitomize. Epitomize. To be a perfect example of something. Oh, epitome. I know this word. I just can't pronounce it. You are the epitome, or I guess that's just another way of saying it. I don't know. Independently of any effective, let alone moral responses to it, buddy, as is epitomized by Singer. The possession of such pre-moral capacities is what confers interest in the well-being. Oh my God, I'm not. Confers interest in a being and consequently makes that being, more precisely its interest, worthy of moral consideration. It is in conscience with this view that Diamond, my low IQ interlocutor, offers the concept of human being as playing a crucial role in the moral life. If sentience and suffering do play a role, it's only in the context of special relations and in virtue of their extrapolation. These are some words that I don't know. Extrapolation, my bad. Yeah, I getting confused by the basics.
Yo, what up?
Hey yo, religious thesis, a debater, philosophical learner, KG member, RI member. You have a good list on you, buddy.
Yo, thanks, man.
But you got abortion on your tag, so what's your position? You want to engage with me?
I'm a pro-life speaker.
Oh, you're a pro-lifer. So what's going to be the argument for the pro-life position, buddy?
Yo, I was the villain, man. I'll try to get the argument round up. But I'm like, I don't know how to defend it very perfect. Like,
So you don't...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suggesting me to make a hylomorphism argument for logic 3.
Really? Okay. Give me your hylomorphism, okay? And I'm going to ask you how you're going to take...
Yeah, premise 1 is going to be that I didn't make the argument for hylomorphism.
Yeah, Aristotle made the argument, buddy. I know this already, buddy, okay?
You're bad, bro. Chill out.
Yeah, so can my interlocutor engage with the conversation before I break you into pieces? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking, okay?
Oh, chill out, son. But I did type out the argument, though.
Yeah, let me look at the argument, okay, buddy?
Son, please don't like beat me up, bro.
Begin the conception is a human substance who a whole living being has rational form, possesses the human essence, has radical capacity for reason, is inherently morally valuable. Okay, and you're saying this is hylomorphism?
Well, for logic 3, naming it is.
Okay, so do you believe in? So you said possess the human essence. So what's gonna be essence here? How are we gonna render our essence?
Essence, we would argue kind of that it's kind of like what something is.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, what something is. For example,
What something is?
has a horse essence because the functions like a horse, therefore it has a horse essence.
I'm gonna ask you a question, okay? Just to see how.
Are you a pro-choice?
Listen, I am a pro-choice harlot. I'm a whore for this argumentation, okay? So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yo, chill.
I'm gonna ask you a question, all right?
Yeah, sure, father.
What's gonna be the modal characterization for essential properties? How are we gonna render out of that? Okay?
Whoa, son. Don't go too high tier. Sovereign. Don't go too high tier.
All right.
What are you asking, sir?
So basically,
Are you asking me to make an argument?
so I'm asking you, right? What's the modal characterization for essential properties? Because your argument include essence, right? What's the modal characterization for? Let me repeat it for you, okay? What is the modal characterization you're using to cash out essence or essential properties.
Are you asking about essential properties? Like, what is the modal characterization for essential properties?
That's what I said, Mr. Interlocutor.
No, please go easy on me, sir.
No.
Is it like to have property essentially, like, instead of accidentally? Because do they use the language of necessity and possibility? Because I kind of forgot.
So when you're talking about modal or modalities, surely you already explained it in what you're saying, but it wasn't too well explained, right? So you're talking about accidental properties. Well, what do you think?
From what a thing has to be to what a thing must be in order to remain itself.
Yeah, so we're gonna render out that word you said, accidental, right? What do you take accidental properties to be?
Accidental properties to be?
What are gonna be accidental properties, buddy? Skater boy.
Metaphysics or like modal logic?
What are you asking me?
Are you asking me like in metaphysics or modal logic?
Obviously, it's gonna be a question in metaphysics, right?
Okay.
Because we're talking about properties, skater boy.
First, they're called contingent properties. There's something that can be.
Ooh, your first blunder. Your first blunder is seriously obtuse. Are you saying that all well, no. Are you okay? I'm gonna ask you a question, okay?
If you I said accidental properties, first of all, are called contingent properties because there are things of like something that it happens to have in the real world, like could have lost or like what does lack mean? Oh yeah, lack. Without like losing it, what it is, like the identity of that thing itself.
Ooh, this is
Because,
such a
like,
blunder.
Because we could say that like when we change an accidental property, the object itself.
Oh, you're stumbling right now. Whoa. I gotta educate you, Mr. Boy, pro-lifer. Oh, you sissy baka. So you said that all accident. Oh my god. So whoa. Okay. So are you saying all accidental properties are losable?
This is literally what it's known. They're features of an object that happens to have in the real world that could have lacked without losing its identity. So.
You failed as an interlocutor to really track the argumentation that I provided to you because you're unable to read the SAP on essential properties versus accidental properties. If you do know that all accidental properties are losable, then you forget about the concept of accidental permanent properties. So it seems as though you failed to study, Mr. Interlocutor, pro-life theist. Unless you don't know how to really conceptualize what accidental permanent properties are, because you've not educated yourself, Mr. Interlocutor. I can't hear you. I'll rejoin. I'm back, Mr. Interlocutor. I'm sorry, Interlocutor. I couldn't hear what you were saying because it was bugged for a second, so you have to repeat what you said. Interlocutor, you have to repeat yourself. Interlocutor, my theist interlocutor, you have to repeat yourself because I didn't hear a word of what you were saying. What were you saying? You said all accidental properties are losable, but this is just to be incorrect.
No, because what I'm saying, I'm defining accidental properties, okay? They're features of an object that it happens to have, like, in the real world, but would have lacked, like, without losing what it is.
So,
like, AKA the identity.
okay,
But,
Mr.
like,
Interlocutor.
basically, what, sir? I can give you the sources.
Yeah, your sources surely has left you stranded because it has given you incorrect information.
Yo! It's literally the Simon Fraser University.
Yeah, so listen. So you're saying all accidental properties are losable. Is this your claim? Because
Like,
certainly.
what I mean is, like, could have lacked without
Ooh,
losing its identity.
I'm gonna ask you a question again because I feel like you're unable to really process what I'm saying, Mr. Interlocutor. Are all accidental accidental properties losable?
Are you actually
So I need
asking
you
me
to, okay,
this?
okay. What did you say, buddy?
Are you actually seriously asking me this question? Yes or no?
I'm asking you a simple question, Mr. Interlocutor. Skaterboard, if you're unable to answer the question, I need you to refer to that Stanford Encyclopedia
no, bro.
on
Okay,
accidental
I'll
versus
answer
essential
you,
properties.
boy. No,
If you're
it's
not
not.
able to answer the question properly, then we can re-assume your position to be wrong because you're unable to actually grasp what I'm saying.
Hello.
Shame on you!
What? Yeah, what did I do? Oh my
Yeah,
days.
you're such a sissy baka!
We're grown people doing this, dude.
I might be 20 years old, but I know that my interlocutor is not.
What? Wait,
Whoa.
I'm a teenager.
Bro, what the fuck?
I'll take that as a concession. All right.
Yeah, so my answer is gonna be no, okay?
So are all accidental properties losable? I'm just gonna ask you some
No.
questions, Skater Boy.
No,
Then what
you-
was your initial assertion? Seems to be wrong. You made a concession because you now move on. You made a concession.
I defined it properly, you little Jew, sir. You goyslop.
Yeah, you didn't define it properly because your initial claim was that all properties are losable. Accidental properties to be specific,
First
because you
of
can lose
all,
in the real world.
okay, go,
But if you understood the Stanford Encyclopedia of Essential versus Accidental Properties,
What did I
posted-
said? What did I said? What did I said? Is
You
that the
can lose the
contingent
accidental property, but surely
You
not all
little
accidental
boy.
properties are
Yeah,
losable because they are
you
permanent
little
accidental properties, which
boy.
are historical facts if you look at the timeline properly. Yeah, I
Yo,
don't
let
know,
me
like,
speak. Yo, I'm gonna concede one lie on the Shia Mormon God.
yeah, I don't know how you're going to concede your halomorphic argument if you can't even cash out what modal characterizations are for essential properties, and you can't even understand what accidental properties are. So I don't know why you're going to use those terms if you aren't able to understand them properly. So I don't know what you're talking about. So you're such a ridiculous sussy back who needs to be strucken down because you're such a low IQ interlocutor who
I'm
needs to
gonna
be
ask
assaulted
assholes
in
to
well.
break your ass.
Oh, Daddy assholes, please save my life and bless me with all your mighty strength of intellectually mugging this guy's butthole. Please.
My interlocutor has gone to the mental asylum and come back with his gore, what I call is just sexual comments about my asshole, which I just refuse to engage with because he was unable to understand his own argumentation because he used
I'm
words that he
gay,
can't bring
you
around.
I'm like a gay larper.
If you're gay, then I'll accept your butthole comments as something a part of your own sexuality.
Yo,
For sure.
mashallah, bro. I'll pray to Allah that He gives you like 72 wives in heaven, dude.
So you're a
Mashallah,
Muslim. So are you a Muslim? Right?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
So you're a
Listen, I'm a
Muslim.
Shia. I'm
So
a Shia Mormon.
Did Allah
Jew?
fuck a
I'm a-
9-year-old? Answer the question.
I'm a Shia Mormon apologetic. Okay, I'm a Shia Mormon apologetic. So it's gonna be the argument that being a Shia Mormon
That's
is
just
gonna
going
be
to
an
be a burden
immoral
shift.
act.
So I'm going to ask you a question again. Your argumentation says that human essence is going to be
Yes,
essential.
sir, but
If human
it's
essence
not
involves some sort of rationality of some
Yeah.
sort, then it's going to be
I'm just
essential, and you cannot
trying to think
categorize
like
what that
I'm
essential
there.
property is going to be in regards to multiple
Oh my
characterization. Then you're going to say
God.
the accidental properties are going to be losable. Then I'm going to ask you the same question. If accidental properties are all losable, then what about permanent properties, such as accidental properties that are historical facts, such as you were born
What?
in
Yo,
a certain
I
country
can't
at a
even hear
specific
single
time?
thing
It seems
you're
as though we can erase this from the timeline. So I'm going to ask you a question again. How are you going to render
Yo, I
out what essential
fucking
properties
just-
are? Yeah, fuck you. Hey, back to reading.
Would y'all like to see an argument I'm working on?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'll send it in chat.
Oh, set up all possible worlds. Yeah, so explain.
Victim, what were you doing?
I just-
What is going on?
You little guy. So easy on me next time. Please, I beg.
So, all right, there's a person called Doodle in the voice chat right now. They're actually educated in what they're saying and can render out their argument properly, unlike yourself. So you're
Oh
gonna,
my God!
you're
yo,
gonna
whoa.
sit down like a good boy and listen to what they're gonna say. All right. So Doodle, explain your
All right,
argumentation because this
master.
person
All
was
right,
unable to actually
master,
clarify what they were going to talk about in regards to
Master,
essential
I heard you the
properties.
first time, dipshit. Master, I will do whatever you tell me to do, alright?
All right, Doodle, this is a cool argument. Can you explain this argument for me? I'm like really interested in it.
I'll give a simpler version of it. Here, let me open up like the drawing app or whatever.
What the fuck is this argument? Oh wait, this is actually good. Mashallah.
Okay, here. I'll just like, give a simpler version of it. Let me see this. We're going to find probability as 1 over the cardinality of any set. Okay, so this is just how we're defining cardinality. So like, for example, if we have like coin flips, we have 1, 2. Equals two different coin flips we could get, right? Heads or tails, 1 or 2. So we have 2 different options. So the cardinality of this set is 2 because there's 2 options, right? So the number, this hashtag just means number of outcomes we want. So like if we just want heads, that means we want 1 outcome over the cardinality, which is 2. That's the probability you get heads, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's how we're going to define the probability of a set, right? So if we assume an infinite set, like all natural numbers, I think that the symbol's like this. It's just going to be 1, 2, going on infinitely. Its cardinality would be infinite. It goes on forever, right? So if we want to find a specific number within this, the probability would equal infinity.
Quick question. I don't understand the conclusion.
I think given the conclusion.
All right.
Okay.
Good press.
Oh crap! Wait, I need to use this instead. Okay. Well, I did not mean to do that. Okay. Sorry. So this is going to be the probability of finding a number within an infinite set. So if we assume the set of all God attributes is infinite, right? Like we could say God's desires could be infinite, God's attributes could be infinite, etc. Let's just assume it's infinite. Then the probability of any specific God existing, so any God in, is 0, because if we take the summation of this, probability of x equals 1, as we get closer to the summation of an infinite amount in, the limit of n as n approaches infinity equals 0. So just the probability of any number, choosing any number with an infinite set, approaches 0. So if we have an infinite set, like the amount of attributes of God, the probability of any specific God existing would be 0.
Yeah, and what's the argument?
What?
And what's the argument for why that proposition is true?
It's more of a conclusion, but wait.
A conclusion can still be a proposition. I don't see the issue.
Yeah, that's fine. But which I gave a few.
Nah.
What?
Why are these things not like derived from some nebulous internal stimuli?
Oh, sorry. Which proposition are you referencing?
Just everything. Why are these things not derived from some nebulous internal stimuli?
Some nebulous internal stimuli?
Yeah.
Could you explain that for me?
Yeah, so when I say nebulous internal stimuli, I just mean mental states that quantify over unsaturated entities. When I say an unsaturated entity, I just mean one that's going to be incomplete. And what's meant by incomplete here is just that it
is
lacks...
this like Flo's morning voice, or is this just Flo's like kid?
Nah.
Which one is it?
I'm not Flo. I'm not
Are you Flo's
student.
kid?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Are you 100% sure?
Yeah.
Can you just type everything out you're saying real quick?
Why, so you can ChatGPT?
No, so I can like actually I can't hear you. To be quite frank. And you're using a lot of big scary words, so I'm gonna need it written down. The words are scaring me. Yeah, can you explain the give the explanation for nebulous internal stimuli.
When I said nebulous internal stimuli, I just mean a mental state that quantifies.
Yeah, can you write that down?
Okay, yeah, hell nah. That's too much writing, gang. I ain't gonna fake.
Okay, then how about you don't explain it in some jargon way?
Do you even hear what
actually write it down?
I said a mental state.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm talking about your earlier explanation.
Your earlier explanation was that a mental state that quantifies over unsaturated entities, and what's meant by unsaturated is incomplete. And what I mean by incomplete is just lacking essential components or methodological constituents to what's called to make the whole. And also within logic, when you say something that's going to be in a sense incomplete, well, in a sense, a formal system or structure is complete if there are statements that are true within. No, it don't even matter. I'm not gonna lie, I was showing you, gang. I ain't gonna fake, bro.
You what?
I'm not gonna lie, I was showing you, gang. I ain't gonna lie. I did not care.
I know. Yeah, let's search up this nebulous internal stimuli.
More so nebulous internal simulacra.
Refers to a vague, amorphous, or ambiguous sensations and cognitive experiences arising within the body or mind, such as subtle bodily sensations, hazy emotions, or undefined thoughts. He left. I mean, he's jargoning. It's fine.
Yeah, so your argument fails because it's unable to capture what nebulous internal stimuli actually is.
Bro, let me just define nebulous internal stimuli as P1. And the rest of the argument has nothing to do with it. Bro, I had this one dude. He asked me if I was a nihilist, and I said possibly, because like to some positions I am a nihilist, right? But he just asked me a nihilist as all, and I said yeah, possibly. And then he later says, okay, so do you just believe moral propositions are untrue? I said, well, I think there's a possibility they're synthetic, but for the most part, I don't think they're synthetic. So he's like, then he went, but you're a nihilist. You don't believe moral propositions are true, but you just said moral propositions are synthetic. Oh my God. It's the worst argument I've ever had. Good argument overall. Thank you. I think the biggest
it's a good
issue.
argument, like very good.
I think the biggest issue is with it heavily relies on the S5 being untrue, and then also heavily reliance upon God not being necessary. But I mean that's
Well,
more
like, can you
in key with
substantiate what do you mean
S5.
by that?
Substantiate what I mean by what?
Like an S5 not being true.
S5 axiom of modal logic.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, part of the S5, there's a few inferences of the S5, but one of the main inferences of the S5 is if a proposition is possibly necessary, or sorry, yeah, possibly necessary, that means the proposition is necessary. So if there's some possible world in which it exists necessarily, that means it's necessary. Oh, this is the notes bot. How does it work?
I think it like records or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the S5. Then like the beginning axioms are just like the I think the first axiom is just like going over laws of logic. The second one's distributive property. And is the third one transitive? I think so. Yeah, transitivity.
Yeah, it is.
And then there's also symmetry B, and then there's the 5, but symmetry B and 5 are kind of. How do I do like a super reaction? Like one of those, because I have Discord Nitro. Or I can do like reactions from different servers. Metaphysical and epistemic nihilism. Epistemic nihilism is kind of hard to refute, I'll be honest. Because
Wait, are you saying that it's like hard to critique?
Yeah.
Well, like, can you substantiate why?
Because I can't critique it, bro. Well, I mean, personally, I am one, but
Yeah, like what type?
just I don't think like any proposition other than like some sort of a priori proposition is possible to be proven.
Oh, okay.
Unless like you have an infinite amount of knowledge. But there's also like the issues with infinite amount of knowledge. Like there's sets in which are larger than an infinite set. There's larger than infinite sets. So if you're saying God's knowledge is infinite, there's a larger set. Loki? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like any sort of like nihilistic point of view is almost impossible to engage. It's just them not accepting any proposition or just being dismissive of every proposition. It's almost like arguing with trivialism. Trivialism's worse though. You can't argue with trivialism. That's the issue. It's horrible faith. But you can argue with trivialism at the same time. Most significant technical areas are impossible, honestly. Well, yeah, that's like one of the main inferences. You're assuming like the sorry. Actually, is that true? Then you're talking to a pit. Yeah. I mean, I think we can describe like our relation to logic. I mean, so the thing of that, it's just saying the probability of God or any specific God existing is 0, since like if you take the probability of any number within an infinite set, that is also 0. that is explained by it'd be, I don't have these premises labeled. Maybe I could count it out. It's explained by this premise. Oh, that's just a V. But like, with like logic, like we can describe like our relation to it, like prescriptive, descriptive, necessary, contingent, analytical, synthetic. But like it's still like, just to deny it denies any formal language system. Yeah. Because you're using to imply that G is an accidental, which I think is not actually. But in your modal reasoning, every world has. Did I say right? Because I'm new to this, honestly. Because you're using probably the God equals 0 to imply God is an accidental, I think, or not an actualizable property. I mean, you don't really have to like use act impotency necessarily. I mean, I guess you can. I'm not. But in your modal reasoning, every world has not really. No, it's assuming God has an infinite amount of properties, which we can assign to him. That's like, it's saying if there's a set of infinite properties, we can define an infinite amount of different gods existing. Oh, fuck. The range of attributes would have to be infinite, or just the amount of gods which could exist would have to be infinite. You can disagree because properties would be predicated towards subject, though it'd be quite stupid to define God with infinite properties because then you just lay out a nothing burger. Like an infinite potential amount of properties. It's like we're saying, like first off, knowledge of God. I mean, unless you want to define God as all-knowing, we could say the range of God's knowledge could be from an infinite amount of things, like knowing everything, to just knowing one singular thing. Like the all-knowing, I mean, even if God knows everything, we could just use like the set theoretic form. There's an infinite amount of infinite sets which are larger than the infinite set. So there's an infinite. Is this a little bit? Yeah. So we could just say like there's an infinite amount of sets in which God knows everything infinitely. So I mean that's still like an infinite amount of properties which we could assign to, or that God could possibly have while still being all-knowing. All possible properties. We could just define all possible properties as infinite as well, while still excluding some properties. All non-contradictory properties. So no. So if the probability of God is greater than 0, well that's the issue with like assigning like any non-zero probability to an infinite set. If there's an infinite amount of gods which could exist, that statement would be false. But it also would be false to say it's 0 technically, because the probability of measure of any set should equal 1. So if you set it to 0, it doesn't work as well. So that's why it's more undefined than anything. But I typically like to assume it is 0, because that's the limit we're reaching. The limit is 0. I define it as 0 though, but technically it's refutable. Some theistic theism to prove a point. Yeah. Wait, so I have a question. Like, what math class do you take currently? Zaro. What math class are you taking currently? You grade 12? Well, I mean, it can vary. You're this learning beige. But like, have you taken calculus 1, 2, 3, 4? Are you past calc? Before calc? Just statistics? They didn't let you do calc? So are you taking statistics? You just prefer not to say? Okay. I think you gave yourself the veganism role, but you could probably remove it. Just go to like the roles tab. Also, how do we end the notebot? How did he start it? Some /join? What if I do /stop? Okay, that worked. Now it's thinking. Well, I mean, the assumption the universe is expanding is one that's debated. Like, I feel like one of the like strongest points I've heard for the universe being infinite is like, if the universe is a set of all contingent things, then can anything be outside of the universe? And if so, how does that make sense? Or like, we could define the universe as a set of all material things, which means nothing could exist outside of the universe.
Bro, heard the most retarded shit, bro. I was trying to explain to somebody what monism is. They thought it was all gibberish, bro. Bro, victim. And then they try to be like, well, science isn't philosophy. It has nothing to do with philosophy. And I was like, it does have something to do with philosophy. And some can argue that's under philosophy, and you have the philosophy of science for a reason, right? Victim?
I think victim's AFK currently. Yeah.
But you heard me. Science has to do with philosophy. And I explained there's a connection to philosophy because they say it has nothing to do with philosophy. It's independent philosophy. But you have the philosophy of science, 1. 2, you're going to have to, let me just get you to agree to some of the following premises. You ready? Do you agree right now that science has to do with probability?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And they use hypothesis, etc. All of these things are probability. And are you aware that probability theory is under epistemology? Yes or no? Which talks about all of these things and defines those concepts. Okay, you agree. So given that, if that's the case, then it seems that science has to do with philosophy in the sense that they use probability theory, which is under epistemology, which is under philosophy. So I know I wasn't retarded, right?
Well, I mean, philosophy deals with any methodology, and science is just a methodology of understanding our external surroundings.
In that sense, then sure. And in that sense, you got it, right? Now we say that science has to do with philosophy, and science is really, you can argue that it's under philosophy, right? Most of its methodologies comes from a philosophical investigation, which is
Yeah.
probability theory. Okay then. So I'm not retarded.
Hey, Carbon. Carbon, do you not have that TOS strike anymore?
But no, I don't.
Dang it.
Dang it.
I wanted to make fun of you more for it. Leah's just in chat.
I only joined the VC because I did like a little bit of homework and I boot up, right?
I have homework. Yo, you should have.
I should have it's not my responsibility to remind
No. You shouldn't have said anything because I don't want to do my homework, and now I feel like I have to. I gotta read like 130 pages or something, and some other crap.
I just joined because you were like titled in a VC titled Doodle's Argument Against God. Did you create this?
No, I didn't. I think Victim renamed it to that because I was explaining to him my argument. Bro, Carbon, I had some dude earlier I was arguing with, and he asked me, "Oh, so you're a nihilist?" And I said, "Possibly," because I was referencing like, there's some things, you know, I am a nihilist about, right? Because he listed off a few, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a nihilist of that, whatever." And then so he goes, "Oh, you're a nihilist?" I was like, "Yeah, possibly, just depending on what we're referencing." And then he goes, "Oh, so you just don't think morality is true?" I was like, "Pretty much." And he's like, "Okay, do you think it's possible morality is like true?" And I said, "Yeah, I think it's possibly synthetically true." So it's like, "Oh, so you're not a nihilist about morality, and also you think morality is synthetically true?" It's horrible.
How long did that go on for?
Oh, a horrible amount of time. I should have kicked him, but there was a bunch of people hyping him up in the chat and whatnot. He eventually left. I was very glad.
So like it was basically like that for like 30 minutes straight.
It was like 20, yeah.
Oh my god.
That was a lot of people joining. That's interesting.
I was like debating a Muslim today, and they said they believe like probability is like horrible because it like has no value within monotheism. And I said like, can they justify that? But they couldn't. And then they said that they believe Leibniz's law is a biconditional that like satisfies absolute identity, which was really awkward.
How did you get a Muslim to debate you on philosophy?
I don't know. It's because they were critiquing like the Trinity being three gods. So
Because for me, every time I've talked to, and I've read their like doctrine, for them, if they learn philosophy, it can be considered haram because it can like teach them the wrong thing. So like they're not meant to learn it.
yeah, for some reason he was learning Islamic philosophy. So, and he
Or
said
then
that because within philosophy, like the law of identity, it violates it. Therefore, it's like three gods.
Yeah, no,
He didn't
here's
even
the
give.
case. Sorry,
He
my
didn't
bad.
even give like any substantiation, and he just like kept mocking me when I was debating him. It was all like on.
would be through gods?
Here's the thing, from what I've learned, is if you go to basic philosophy, like literally like math,
He made a
like law of
circular
identity,
claim.
contradiction, like if you just do basic philosophy, like you can just find that there's contradictions in the way that they see their God's simplicity and their attributes. For example, they'll say that Allah has distinct attributes separate from him, but are equal to him, which contradicts itself, which breaks the law of contradiction. And then the only way to answer that is it's just an unknown mystery. So they have no logic behind it.
Yeah, does anybody know like Umar Lighthouse or like a guy who's Dude, you know he gave me like a horrible argument. He tried to argue that the Trinity is like three gods because of like that there's like three persons who hold one God essence and they share it. But like he also said that God's a countdown within monotheism, which is like contradictory. Like, the reason why it's false because it applies like plurality, and we don't treat God as a sortal, so.
Dan, are you Dan?
Judas. Eyes, right? I got the whole number. I got the whole damn team. I got the whole damn team.
Holy dead chat. Mhm, mhm.
Why is everyone muted? What's your definition of love? Or better question, what's the definition of love being used here? Hello? Bruh, why is everyone muted? Hello? Yo, Peter, are you Telos's teacher?
I think someone hacked my account.
Why do you think that?
It's telling me to like send a message, but like I try to verify, and then whenever I try again, it doesn't work. So
Yeah, is this for Discord?
yeah,
Yeah, so if you think someone hacked your account, go to your settings.
all right.
Devices or
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure. Let me find it. You can check the IP and also the devices that went onto your account.
Wait, like where?
I'm trying to find it right now.
I think it's like because it's asking me
Devices.
like an
Just go right to user settings and then go to connections. No connections, devices. And it tells you when these accounts were on.
oh
In
yeah, I
the current
appreciate it.
device.
Oh
you're
no,
welcome.
I wasn't hacked. It's because I like didn't add
Um,
didn't like add an email to my account, just like my phone number. So
I can give you a better thing that like isn't horrible. That's like more secure too than just like an email or Gmail.
no, like it's
Excuse me?
asking me to add an email, but like the problem is I only have a phone number. So
Yeah, okay. Here, I'll give you a suggestion. Make it email. Like make it Gmail. And
wait,
then
hold
after
on.
you do then after you make a Gmail, look up Proton Gmail or Proton Mail. Okay. Make an account with that using
Yeah.
that Gmail. And then you have an extra Gmail who is more secure.
Okay.
And you shouldn't see that like if someone were to find your Gmail, you can't get doxxed with your Gmail. No, you can, but it's way harder. Gmail's worse. Make sure you use something like Proton Mail. So then you're not getting doxxed or anything. Because I was throwing up yesterday.
Oh
And
damn.
also, because I'm officially on ADHD medication. I'll pray for you. Yeah. Oh my god, that just cummed on me. Fuck.
what?
Sorry, I'm tasting this drink mix, root beer flavoring, and I was playing with it, and it just busted all over. Wait, so what was Doodle's argument for God or against God?
I think he typed it in the chat. Like, you go up further. It's a good argument, though.
Why are you sending like esoteric?
Me? Like
What?
the argument I said about someone?
No. Why did you send this?
Hold up.
I barely understand what those symbols are.
Oh, I don't know. I just felt the urge.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll send
You
you
even
more
know that
esoteric.
character?
I can't remember her name, but yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's Lane. The reason I use this profile is because she's like a female, but we're good friends. She told me use it for a month or something as a challenge because I lost a deal with her.
Yeah. No, it's just normal. Like, you're not a femcel or anything because you're a dude. But what's normally what you see it in, or someone knows a lot about computers, and that's why they like Lane. Just pretty rare. That's all.
Yeah, I use a soundboard of the Internet Archive. I have a skit of her said.
Well, that's nice.
Usually, you can use it for
I just
fake
don't care if you
videos.
pray for me.
Yeah.
Well, you made that video.
I didn't make it. Here, I gotta find a gift that won't get me banned. That's good for this context. I think this is allowed. Why is Gene all the theistic position? Oh. True.
Oh my gosh, Shinto?
Yeah.
Wait,
I believe all religions are true.
the fuck? Serial.
Yeah, okay,
the word.
Telos, I'm waiting for the argument.
I saw somebody try to face at me. Anyway.
Bro's give me the copy pasted argument. Oh my god. Here, let me pull this up. Me
Then you
and
just
Grim
mean
talk.
generally potential.
No, I know. I actually have one topic that me and Grim read about. I'm gonna try to find it real quick. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so are you taking it that it's Since it's possible in one world, then it would be possible in every other world. Right.
Amazing premises, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Wait, let me like get this real quick. Let me do something. I gotta open up Obsidian. I want to see if this is like something that's plausible or something I could use. Probably go to logic. Unless I make a new
Yes, you can see it. Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember.
Good.
Yeah. Do I concede? No, I don't. I'm just trying to find something real quick. Because me and Grim talked about possible world semantics, and I'm gonna like have a good answer to this specifically. Wait, just real quick, what do you mean by possible? Like, what's gonna be the argument it's possible in one world? Oh.
Oh, plausible.
Well, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so specifically when we're referring to like possible worlds, right? We're gonna take it like specific properties or like things of these possible worlds. Wouldn't it be like intrinsic to the thing or the world, right? We could just take it that specifically for these worlds they could have different properties. I'll give you an example. Let me find it. Man.
Yes, 17.
Yeah, let me get Grim in here because I want him to
Can't take philosophy shit no more, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
Yo, easy Flo, good question. So specifically
Dean.
for possible world semantics, right?
Dean.
Yeah.
I can't take philosophy serious. You wanna know why, bro?
Why?
Bro, what do you mean there's a guy who coined a term called logical combinatorialism for Hume's metaphysics? And his name is Andrew Bacon. What type of name is Andrew Bacon, bro?
Answer Bacon.
His name is Andrew Bacon. His last name is Bacon, bro. Like, what do you mean, bro?
By the way, specifically for like possible world semantics, right? Can we just take it that like the properties like to these possible worlds aren't like for sure, like how should I say this? So like if we were to have like world 1 and world 2, right? Then like gravity could be true in one possible world, but the other possible world it wouldn't be true, right?
That's contingency. It's literally saying that a fact X can fail to obtain within a possible world. What about that?
Okay. Yeah, okay. So could you use that? It believes in God.
Can you use it's contingency? Of course you can use it. What? That's contingency. You're just saying, yeah.
Yeah, so we could just say that like specifically in the context of the maximal being argument, right? We could just take it that even if it might be true like in one world.
No. The maximal being argument is trying to say that God is a necessary being, so he's going to be this in all possible worlds, right? He has to be true across all possible worlds.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like break the relation specifically between like the one world or the possible world and like all worlds.
I think that one world is a possible world. I don't know what that means.
No, I'm saying I'm trying to get like a symmetry breaker between like that possible world and like every other possible world.
Oh yeah. So if there's a being that's possibly necessary in one possible world, it would have to be necessarily necessary in all possible worlds, given the S5 axiom. But somebody would probably deny that.
Okay, what is the S5 axiom? Yeah, I'll just look it up. Google is free.
I said okay, my bad. I said the S5 axiom is basically saying if you're possibly necessary, I mean you are possibly a being that can exist in all possible worlds, and you have to be necessarily necessary.
Yeah. I don't think. Is there like actually any reason to believe that?
Yeah, there's actually a schematic proof for S5 axiom.
Yeah. Do you think that TLOs can give it?
TLOs?
Yeah. This was Dan, whatever his name was.
Oh no. I don't think he can, bro. Who knows?
TLOs give the argument for it then.
I'm not sure if he can. I don't know the guy, but like I said, yeah, S5
Flo's
axiom.
friend. That's what he said.
Yeah, S5 axiom is a thing, bro.
Yeah, this is
And
Google.
it's proof for it, but I deny it. It's told it to me.
Yeah.
Is this even Doodle's argument for God, or is this just watching Doodles play Beat Saber?
Also, you can give an auto epistemic logics account to go against S5
I
axiom.
don't know. Beat Saber's fun.
Wait.
Doodles is just gay. Don't worry about it.
S5 logic is a system of modal logic that deals with the necessity
Oh
and
my
possibility.
God.
S5 axiom.
characterized by a specific
I'm gonna
axiom.
fail here.
Oh, okay,
think
yeah.
Doodles
So
is
yeah,
fine.
because me and what's it called? Grim were talking about this, and it like seemed pretty interesting too. So
Yeah, if something is
S5
possibly
axiom, if
necessary, then
something
it's
is possibly
necessarily
necessary.
No.
Yep.
Let me think. I'm trying to remember like. Oh,
You should do necessarily necessary, like two necessity operators.
Hey Google, off.
wait. So what's gonna be the argument that's possibly necessary? So. No, actually, no.
Let's try this one. Oh, I'm gonna fail on this.
Well, I'm pretty sure you copy and pasted that, but let me think.
Why am I lagging?
So, what do you mean by like possibly necessary in this context?
Possibly necessary just means in some possible world is necessary.
Yeah. I'm just like seeing like what he says. Also, Flo, you
Oh,
should teach me
shit.
about infinitism. Like specifically like in depth though. It was
Flo, why do your accounts keep getting banned, dog?
It's because he's extorting girls in the com. Like 764.
Was he on like the list?
Yeah, the Diddy list, actually.
You know what
Oh, hey,
files?
Smart.
What files are you talking about, man? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the one where Diddy rapes like little boys.
What files? What files? I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Here.
Give up. Flo had to make a new account. That's crazy, bro.
Flo has like 80 accounts.
Probably. Wait, no, I did Dominion, didn't I? I don't know if I can still do this level. Carbon, this is the hardest levels I once beat. I don't.
It
I
looks
probably can't
pretty
do it anymore.
easy.
Oh, does it? Just wait. I don't know if I can still do it.
What's a KB Crusader?
Oh my god, bro.
Doodles, you fat chud. Holy shit.
Yeah, I can't do
I
this
got the
anymore.
hours on, bro.
Do you think
Yeah,
you could
Doodles is
100%
pretty
this, by the way?
terrible at the game.
All right, Dean.
Yeah, I was asking you about infinitism. Low.
Oh, what about what's infinitism?
Like global. Or universal, I mean.
Gosh.
I don't know what that
Okay,
is. I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
Come
what
on,
do
I
you
just
know?
know epistemic infinitism and causal infinitism. Global infinitism doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, do you hold an infinitism?
Maybe epistemic infinitism.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, well, then in that sense, yeah, I hold to an impure infinitism.
Hmm. Do you have any PDFs specifically on infinitism? Infinitism?
Yeah, I can give you the PDF I read on.
Yeah, please.
It's from Klein.
Oh, yes, that would be awesome.
I don't know how to do that.
Client's really based.
Yeah, I used my email. It wasn't a hack.
Oh well, eyes. Here, look up Proton Mail and then make a email with that email.
I'll try.
Wait, if I could get the
Recite
PDF on
reader.
infinitism too, that'd be tough.
Because I like bought this phone like a week ago. That's why.
No, you're perfectly fine, specifically with Proton Mail. Unless you're getting like the government requesting information, chances are you're not gonna have any problems. Specifically with like data leaks or like breaches. So if someone were to look
Oh,
up like your
Jesus.
Proton Mail, you won't have to deal with anything.
What the fuck
Just
is
economics.
Doodles doing?
I'm
he's
sight reading,
gooning.
bro. It's hard.
No, he's gooning right now.
Fuck no.
Exactly.
Doodles
Isn't
is
that
a
right, Doodles?
Doodles is a
You want to see OV
math-
Sacrament? Yeah, watch
Doodles
this.
is
People
a
have
Isn't that
actually
right,
beaten this.
Doodles?
People have full. No, not this one. Wrong one. It's this one. Sorry. People have full comboed this before.
By the way, Doodles is a algebra.
No, fuck no.
Does anybody have like an argument on like theism or something? If anybody's like a theist.
Oh yeah, just talk to Telos. He was trying to talk about the maximal being argument.
Oh, I think I'm
I
interested.
think a maximal being argument fails though, and it sucks ass. But like,
Does anybody in here like reject evolution or something?
what do you mean by evolution? Which
Like-
theorem?
Like they apply a distinction between macro and micro.
Oh well, just real quick, eyes. Do you affirm eugenics?
The dualism of evolution is not denying evolution.
Eugenics? I'm new to that, honestly. So
Fuck, bro.
I missed that block.
Yeah. Well, practically, do you care about it? Do you dislike it? Do you support it?
gotta
I
find
don't
it.
know, honestly. It's hard to decide.
Okay. Besides morals, would you say it's true?
Yo, I don't know if it's true or false because like it's hard to decide. So I'm just gonna say prefer
look
not
at
to.
your
be
DMs.
honest.
No flow. What's up?
Yo, Dean, look at your DMs. What's up?
Yeah.
Bro, I was reading a little bit ahead on the 20th series, and bro, I think it like loses morality is actually pretty decent. Like he concerns his metaphysics with morality and
I haven't
logic.
read it yet.
Yeah. I'll read
He,
through the
he
whole
does
thing.
like this analogy with an egg. I'll show you.
Yeah, and also
Right
how do
now,
you
I've been reading on this guy called Andrew Bacon. It's a funny ass name, bro. But
What does he do?
he basically, so it's different from modal combinatorialism. He makes a logical combinatorialism for the human account. Now, obviously, it
What kind of
fails,
style is
obviously,
that?
under our metaphysics. But it's great to bring up because it goes against metaphysical necessities, but holds to logical necessities. And it still seems to be defeasibly explicated, but still makes like a reduction on a lot of the necessary commitments you make.
Do you have a paper on? Is it like a paper or something else?
Yeah, it's a paper I'm reading on it.
Yeah, send it. That sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Pretty theoretic.
a logical combinatorialism right here. The thing about where we might diverge again is probably for black possibilists. Then we don't hold that possibilities have to be logically consistent, like the classical people.
Well, yeah, because we're taking consistency.
Right. So that's where we would diverge from him as well. But
It's fine to still read it for the theoretics.
yeah, no, I would like to see how. I mean, I like how he was he holds for Humean. I used to be a Humean before I was a Deleuzian. So
yeah,
how he reifies Hume metaphysics is kind of helpful.
Oh, so you were talking about that album?
Yeah, bro, that stuff was not bad. I mean, there's some songs that were misses, but
Carbon, have you ever played Gorilla Tag?
he's new.
Wrong thing.
He did collapse with
Yeah,
Izulu,
I haven't heard him.
Slayer. No.
Oh, I see.
Does that work?
He's a Prague.
Wait.
He's from the Netherlands and shit. He's new though.
It's always
But,
from the Netherlands. It's either Netherlands or Russia, bro. Like,
yeah.
fucking create crazy beats, bro. That's all they do in life.
But yeah, he's
all they
pretty
do is
hard,
what?
bro.
Wait, all they do is what? The Russians and
Oh, the Russians, all they do is just make beats.
Oh no, all they do is like do crypto and probably like rape each other and send CP to each other.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's like anything involving crime.
They
Yeah.
make beats with a child's ass,
I hear
right?
nothing.
Because they're fucking
Yeah,
pedophiles.
something like that.
Yeah.
They're like a child's anus.
Something like along those lines, honestly.
Right,
Wait,
it's fucking
I hear
pedophiles. But whatever.
I think it's of their
Noodles
nature
is just a
actually.
gay-
to do that.
Speaking of
Noodles is just a
pedophiles,
gay
bro.
twin, though.
You guys seen the Michael
what?
Jordan shit?
Shut up,
A
twin.
part of their nature is to go on Telegram and send CP to each other.
That sounds kind of cool.
Wait, wait, is it working? Input detected. Check mic setting.
Wink. Bitch. Nigger.
Wait, am I gonna have to rejoin?
I could have sworn that Deleuze held to ethics over morality, but who knows?
No, he shows like a morality like, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty
Wait,
sure. But
how do I make a text debate?
Like,
where I
when he
could, like,
responds
set
with the
an argument?
20th tense, it's just responding to like a problem with Stoic morality.
Okay. Oh wait, no.
And how he
Chrome's
solves that is just saying that we kind of diverge to certain steps in how we frame our morality.
working. Why is there a wall?
Such as that we do logic, then morality, then metaphysics. You do
Oh, that's
discourse,
so
not just
cool.
Right,
discourse.
and then but logic is still a secondary product. That's the
Yep.
funny part.
Oh, I'm lagging. Jesus. I'm not
And,
lagging.
and then somehow he puts it all back to the metaphysics of the Eon, bro. That shit fries, bro. Shit fries me.
Motherfuck! I'm asking
Well, yeah,
a
because
question.
so this is why I think that he somewhat touches on logic in some way, although he doesn't really investigate or make his own logical schematic systems. The thing is, remember, he does process. He's a processual ontologist. That's what Deleuze is. He does process.
Yeah.
He's a process ontologist. So ontology obviously is a part of metaphysics, and metaphysics is pretty much what he primaries on.
Right.
Now,
Guys, I
a lot
have
of
2,000
people
shiny rocks. What should I buy?
would probably ask and put in the question.
Here, let me pick for you.
They would ask the question: does
Okay.
Deleuze? What would Deleuze
Oh,
do against Grand Priest, who does logic?
Mm-hmm.
And really, you would say that Grand Priest most of the time, it's more expected that he would win on a logical topic. In some way, I don't think so. I think Deleuze might win because the very
Where's little
basis of
Hume?
logic
What's that got?
seems to be held within metaphysics, given his critiques. So in some sense,
Yeah,
I might
man.
say that Deleuze
Yeah,
might be
especially,
overarching
like,
towards the logicians.
I think Graham might have a problem with just grounding logic in general.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he holds to some reflexivity. Deleuze, on the other hand, he wouldn't probably hold to reflexivity. He would say reflexivity seems to be a secondary real illusion, but it seems that everything is
What I
mainly
really
irreflexive.
want to see, like, if I were to like to pay to something, I would want to see Grand Priest like try to attack the linguistic problem that Deleuze accounts for.
Oh no. All I know is Grand Priest struggled to kind of beat trivialism.
So
That's
yeah,
it.
he might
He's
just not
given
be-
no successful arguments
paradox,
with
or he might not be able to beat it.
Is
Yeah.
there like a valid argument against trivialism?
Actually, there's a
I mean, they
way.
hold to the reductio, but like again, they would agree to that. They don't really care.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I'm
would
pretty
agree
sure-
to a reductio.
They
I mean, you
would.
can't even
But they would
reductio
have
because
to.
reductios rely on pointing out a contradiction within a system.
Well, yeah, they believe that there's a contradiction in the system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they believe
reductios don't
that.
land at all.
They
No,
do land. They don't land.
They
Well, yeah, they
do,
land.
they
Sorry,
just
but like
don't
they don't
care.
matter at all.
But this is
It's-
what
it-
this
it-
is
Yeah,
what
honestly,
this
yeah.
is what the
if you
debate I
prove a
had
reductio,
with
that means
Kuro.
they are
I
trivial.
mean, not
It just
Kuro.
proves
I
their
mean Kieran.
position.
And this is the debate I had with Kieran. I think a reductio you can reductio a trivialist. But the
Does
thing
nothing,
is
though.
that won't do anything.
Yeah, because I mean that's literally just proving they are a trivialist if they accept
Right.
reductio.
Exactly. Trivialists just accept it all. So it's like you can't
Ilya.
reductio a trivialist, but you can at the same time.
I mean, there's some virtues of just saying that, some theoretical virtues just deny that we were more leading into like different positions there than the trivialist account. Those are one way. One
Oh,
way is
trying
just
to
to
guy.
avoid the trivialist account from explanations. And yeah, I mean, like trivialism is just like a way like you would just want to go away from. But it is possible. Like I'm glad.
I like trivialism. It's a great view. It's only
but it's also
only
not a great
working.
view.
It's only working.
Yeah, it's a great view.
But
It
you
is a
also
great
don't
view.
like it.
It's a great view, but trivialism
it's
is
not.
only working in a non-normal world assignment. So
I
you have
mean, yeah,
possible,
It
you have
also works in
normal,
a
you have
normal
normal,
assignment.
you have normal possible worlds, and then you have the non-normal modal logic worlds,
But
right?
it also works in normal, does it not? Or at least
No,
the
no,
trivialist
no,
perception
no.
does.
That's where the restriction comes in. In a normal world, which trivialism would be affirmed, logic would trivialize. You want to posit
Yeah, logic would
posit
trivialize.
trivialism as possible. You want to posit trivialism as inferentially admissible within some construction, but that construction has to be tied to a non-normal world. If it wasn't a
Well,
normal
the
world, then
inferential
logic would
construction has to be
trivialize.
on different laws of logic as well. You can't use like typical.
No, it's not
proposition
different laws of
calculus.
logic. That doesn't make sense. There's no different
Well,
laws
you
of
can't
logic.
There's
use
just
like
different respective domains.
We're telling you in a
Yeah,
in a
such
in a
as
possible
non-normal worlds
normal
and world
world
worlds.
assignment, trivialism would trivialize the logic. We don't want to trivialize the logic, right? It's totally fine. That's
So
supposed
wait,
to
what would you
trivialize.
say if a trivialist said it does exist in normal possible worlds? What would you say?
I would say it would trivialize the logic, given the very parameters
Okay.
of
So
truth table
what does that do to
assignments
their
and model.
position? It trivializes the logic.
Well,
What does
no,
that do?
that's the thing. That's the thing. That's what makes trivialism impossible. I'm trying to say that if you want to prove that
Impossible.
trivialism is possible, you must say that trivialism could be constructed inferentially admissible in such a way that it
So
wouldn't
wait, what if they
trivialize the
agree
logic.
that makes trivialism impossible?
Well, no, that's the point. No, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to tell you that what I do, I argue that trivialism is possible, right? I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
going to be
he's not
globally.
working within the framework.
Yeah, exactly. All I'm trying to do is say trivialism is possible. I'm not trying to hold that's impossible. If it's impossible, then obviously I wouldn't hold
But a
to that.
trivialist wouldn't hold to that.
What?
I mean, a trivialist
Trivialist wouldn't hold that.
wouldn't really care, but I mean, you
Yeah.
can still make arguments for it being possible. That's the point there.
Wait, should I buy one of these glasses?
Yeah.
All right, let me see. We can barely see right now.
It should
what was
be
I
on.
gonna say there?
Trivialism is possible if and only if it's
Get the
inferentially
Gojo
formidable,
glasses, the circle ones.
and it doesn't trivialize the theory, the non-trivial theory.
Wait, am
Are
I
you
taking
good
my
at this
earrings
game?
off though? Kinda. Oh, it takes my
Nico?
earrings off. No, I'm not doing it.
I want to.
Wait, can you
Here.
go on top of slippery walls?
Like that's not possible.
It used to be.
It's not anymore. I used to be able to though, when it was possible. Yeah.
Athletic nihilism is pretty
Same.
good.
Oh no.
Wait,
And
what
go into a private
nihilism?
server and see
Athletic nihilism.
how good I am on.
Alethic?
Yeah.
I only like it insofar to me being able to deny truth and falsicities. I just want to hold to acceptability conditions, though. That's the only thing.
You could
That's it.
do that while being a
Maybe-
nihilist. Yeah.
Maybe I can not be a nihilist, though. Like, I can probably not be a nihilist towards truth and falsicity.
You think
and
you
still
think you
hold
can
to-
make like
I'll show you how far you
think
can
make like
actually
a
get on slippery walls.
like a system where yeah, you think you can make a system where like if truth fails to preserve in such a
That's as
system,
far.
then we have like an acceptability system that like as like a backed up system. If you understand what I'm saying there.
Yeah, no, totally. Truth can maybe in the system a different, like a specific domain. Truth may not fulfill the requirements that leads a proof theorem, probably, right? And in that sense, truth would be our dispensable entity. But if you have the acceptability conditions, it might fulfill those requirements and robustly extrapolate the proof theorem. And in that sense,
Yeah.
you would say that acceptability conditions seem to have this priority of construction and function that truth obviously cannot hold up to. It doesn't hold
I
up to
mean,
those standards.
in your personal endeavors, like, would you rather just have acceptability conditions on their own, or have both at the same time as like a backed up system?
So me rather
Wait,
have
should I hack in a public
acceptability
server?
conditions. I'd rather have acceptability conditions because I love the fact that I can just say that
Yeah,
all you need to do is give me a sufficient defeater. Something's going to be acceptable unless you could give me a sufficient defeater that self undermines my argument. Now, the thing is, you can give a contradiction in my argument, but contradictions are not all
Are you using
contradictions are
Executor?
self
What are
undermining.
you doing?
You know that?
Turning on OVR.
You said what?
Oh,
Not all contradictions
I
are
said you could.
self-undermining?
Yeah,
But yeah, you can
that's what
get in here.
hold on. I've given you this. I showed you this a long time ago. But the thing about giving a contradiction is within a syllogism, give one contradiction, syllogism false. It collapses entirely, right?
Right.
But the thing is, in different argumentation theories, obviously, give a contradiction, it doesn't fall. It doesn't have to fall, right? You could keep on going. You could keep on revising. You could keep on,
Yeah, it doesn't
proliferating.
self-defeating. We just go on to a new point.
Exactly. So that's the point. The contradictions, not all contradictions are self-defeating / self-undermining, right? The only contradictions I
Oh,
would
man.
say beats the argument is a self-undermining contradiction. But if it's just a contradiction that you give in my argument, then that's totally fine, right? So I'm trying to make this like argumentation framework. I've been giving a little
Hey,
bit of the
Orange, you know
nodes,
Race?
giving the equal sign, the differentiations.
you
I'm
wanna
making it
race?
kind of Delusian.
Wait, can
We
you
got
not
the
hear me? It's
definition,
on
stratification,
Oh, push the
internal consistency. Now we have it internal consistency, structure, integrity, etc. What I'm trying to say here at the differentiations part is they're not going to collapse within each other. The structural configurations would have to align with self-coherence, even in light of contradictions. It must not self-collapse / undermine. So what that means is you can have contradictions as long as those contradictions are not the self-undermining / self-defeating contradictions.
All right.
And that would be fine. I'm trying to build me an argumentation framework right now. It's based on the Unified Argumentation Framework for Knowledge Qualification PDF that I was sending you guys back to back to back to back. Yeah. And Michael Kakos, he does a great job at displaying object level knowledge and reasoning patterns. But what I'm trying to do right now is construct my own. And once I construct my own and I configure it and I finish, then I could start making the formal ways of how you can make an argument, which is different from the premise format and all the other shit. Like, I don't want to do abstract argumentation framework neither. But yeah, I'm gonna configure my own type of arguments that works with assemblages. That's what you know what I've been doing this whole time, right?
Yeah.
No, do you truly?
Like this whole time of like the argumentation?
Yeah, do you truly know what I'm doing with this? Do you know the goal?
To argue for Deleuze.
Exactly. It's an argumentation framework for Deleuze. It's called I call it the Unified Rhizomatic Argumentation-Based Framework for Knowledge Qualification. With that basic, rhizomatic is the modification I added into it. If you know, Deleuze is most famous for his rhizome. When he speaks about the rhizome, how it's this singular web that expands in multiplicities and stuff. When you get to the rhizome, you're able to understand what I'm saying.
All right.
But yeah, the rhizome is the very thing I'm trying to center the argumentation around. And that's going to help you make any argument for Deleuze. And it's going to work with his assemblages, it's going to work with his denial of the subject-predicate relation, linguistic problem, all that, and so on and so forth. Now, the linguistic problem that you're bringing up about, do you think that it's what do you think about the problem? Like, you think it's a great problem?
I think the problem, like, I think the problem shows that, what's it called? The system that we approached upon just like the classical system just fails as such as that we can't start from a certain we can't start from a denotion, we can't start from a signification, we can't start from manifestation. But yeah, I think it's a great paradox. It shows the problem with sentences such as representation there. And I think what's it called? The system that he puts in framework is such as that it's metaphysical in a sense there. Because of the conditions of such that something of a system that should be a priori in that sense. I think it's a great theoretic there. Yeah.
What does a priori mean?
The very
whatever I say.
criterion. The very criterion.
I'm gonna block you.
The very criterion that they're trying to obviously extrapolate is to be saying that, well, it seems that denotation, signification, all of these things presuppose a representation. Deleuze and many other philosophers went against that representation. And that's what I think is the very heart that Deleuze goes against. It's the primacy, the primary, the primacy of these things, and the representation of these things. So he was somewhat of an anti-representationalist, but he wasn't a anti-representationalist in the ordinary sense that we think of anti-representationalists. I don't think he was a global expressivist neither, let alone his philosophy of language is pretty weird. Now, he's a post-structuralist. Not sure if you know what that is.
Yeah, I think you expressed it a couple of times before.
Yeah, he's a post-structuralist. His philosophy of language is a bit weird, and it makes sense though. Like, I could see why the verb are the main primaries, right?
Yeah. Like, instead of having the predicate, we just have the verb, and that's just like an indefinitive. Like it's really hard to explain. It's just the nature of the word there. Like, it's really weird, but I get it though.
I can understand post-structuralism, and I somewhat agree with it. I do somewhat agree to the view that, well, our language is in constant movement. It's in the sense that they reject that meaning is final or fixed. It's always changing in some way. But the thing I won't hold to is that any of this is fixed, obviously, and objective, or anything is just subjective too. That's what I would probably deny. But I do hold that's always shifting in some aspect.
Yeah.
There was something that I wanted to tell you about. Did you watch that video of Distray?
Oh yeah, I did. I watched it like before I was gonna go to sleep.
You remember the Eternal Return?
Yeah, I got the Eternal Return. From Nietzsche, what is the name?
Yeah, you watched ReZero?
Yeah, ReZero. I know the Death and Return. Yeah.
Yeah, so Return by Death is basically he dies, he comes back, he dies, he comes back. But every time he returns by death, it's not the same return. It's a different return, and that's what Deleuze encapsulates. But under Nietzsche's model, if you return by death in the sense of the sameness return, you would have a same return. And that's how Deleuze kind of redefines Nietzsche's eternal return.
Self-indifference, yeah.
But now, when I think about the eternal return, I really think about it. Could reincarnation really be plausible? How, and can I really construct an argument for reincarnation? That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to
Reincarnation sounds interesting.
Yeah, no,
Really cool
we
concept.
reincarnate. Reincarnation is just saying you come back maybe as an animal or these different things. So when you think about it, is Deleuze really trying to insinuate a reincarnation hypothesis?
Okay, well, the theoretic. I mean, when you die, you come one with the event. The event circles back to the actual. I mean, yeah, I can see the circularity there. I can see the cycle.
The thing about Nietzsche is when he came up with the eternal return, it was supposed to be like this dismantling device against the nihilism view, right? He tried to prove that nothing is meaningless, or not everything is meaningless, right? and he was trying to prove whatchamacallit. And I think he's given a question, and the question had the options. So you know how morality debates go, right? Would you
Yeah.
rather kill your mom and blah, blah? Basically, Nietzsche did the same thing, but more in the metaphysical sense. He gave this question: would you rather live your life again and again and again and again, so on ad infinitum, or would you never just live this one life and never live it again? And then he would show that there's some meaning or care in both options if you pick either or, and it would dismantle nihilism both ways. It's just like type of reductio.
Oh, I see.
But I really want to know how does I'm still not understanding. How does the lose bring about meaning, and how would he go against everything? Because I know his reification towards the eternal return, but how does he bring about meaning? And that's the real question. That's the meat and
It might
potatoes.
be in logic a sense of meaning. It's just linguistic.
No, it probably is. No, definitely. But I'm not there yet. I'm reading the logic of sets pretty slow, stern, so I can understand it. Because you could see I can understand some of it when I really like look.
Yeah,
and
you
look and
can't
look.
just skim through it like at all. Like you gotta.
No, I literally you can't skim through any Deleuze's works. It's gonna always be complex, and it's gonna be complex to always explain. That's why I can never really explain it to you in such a way I can understand. I mean, in such a way you can understand it. You're never gonna get the intuition pump.
Yeah.
And only though the intuition pump comes when you start thinking unconventionally and start thinking differently from what you already did. So really, you gotta deconstruct your very framework. You have to deconstruct everything you believed in to try to understand Deleuze.
Very much.
You gotta take away all them fixed structures to try to understand Deleuze.
Yeah, it's hard to like view him in such a sense where it's like classical in any sense there. Like
No, I literally
especially
tried
how
that
he
already.
attributes linguistics. Like that's probably really complex. Like
tried to
sense,
find
sense is so like complex in such a nature that it's literally fitted to be like this extra being a paradoxical entity. Like even Deleuze acknowledges this is like crazy.
I tried to find one Deleuzian concept that wasn't unconventional and was like normal classical looking. None of it is. Not even how he defines truth is normative sounding. It sounds like it abstracts away from every truth theory. It sounds like it doesn't even hold truth to be the metaphysical property anymore. It doesn't take it as a linguistic convenience neither. So like, it's crazy. And he relates it a lot to temporal logic. That's why I want to kind of learn a little bit of tense logic as well. But I haven't gotten too much into
his
it.
theory on temporal logic is really because like if everything changes, that's dependent upon time. But his theory of time even makes it more complex. So he has like his own system and conceptual model. Like, bro, like you
It's
can't.
way
I
too
don't even
different.
think you can do like a classical system with his theory of time.
My problem with this guy is everything diverges from him. I think he would probably be inclined with the logical nihilist stance, but mainly for the classical logic and non-classical logic, so I don't think he would align with either. Like, honestly speaking.
Yeah. No, I'd say that. But yeah, for the tense logic though, I'm pretty sure he has his own framework and how he attributes that. Because he was never like in a formal aspect where he would attribute like some of his logic such as that. It's formal in a sense there, like definitions and such formats and proof theorems. Like all you would just do is just attribute it upon how we defined it upon at least a linguistic sense there, and how that's attributed upon how we represent those certain things. So it's way more abstract than this thinking. And to formalize it is just like really, really hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, here's my problem, and here's my paradox that I'm coming up. Here's my paradox that I'm coming up. When you talk about we always existed, I don't think it's weird. We didn't always exist. Because for we to always exist, for us to always exist, we must pretty much say that we were before the actual, which was the virtual. But the virtual is pre-individual. So I can't even say we eternally exist. But I felt like we always, the very genetic conditions of us always existed. And that makes me think that I'm an eternalist sometimes. But I think my problem, which I need to stop doing, is I need to stop making the conflationism.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, he probably doesn't conflate two eternal states anyway. Of like maybe the classical sense, obviously.
Yeah, no. My conflation is that I say we exist eternally because genetic conditions which made us exist eternally, and we exist in the virtual half. But we never truly exist in the virtual half because we are actual.
I mean,
Virtual
wouldn't he
always-
classify it? I mean, Deleuze classifies it to be an extra being. Like he confused, or he attribute. Oh my god, he attributes the virtual such as the ion, like such as the past and the future. He doesn't he express it to be the extra being, which is just impossibility. He expresses it to be a non-existent entity. And how we express those certain things is such as a non-existent entity. So I mean I don't like I see where you're going, but I don't think he would attribute by saying we do exist in some way there. I think he would still attribute that it be non-existent.
Exactly. That's my problem. So I can't really be
Yeah.
an eternalist. But I do believe in like always. Like it's always like the planet
maybe you
Earth has
can
always been.
reframe it because like I'm pretty sure Deleuze has like a set mind upon what he finds to be existence. So like maybe if you find existence just to be that, there's just like some configuration upon like from the immanence, right? Then yeah, right. But I mean, yeah, if you're within the system of immanence, then you exist, right? That would be the domain. But yeah, I don't think. I think when like he's talking about non-existence there, I obviously I think he's just talking about the actual there. Like it's pretty obvious how he describes it.
Yeah.
Especially for his linguistic framework, when he does like a Platonic dualist account, specifically just for the infinite and the finite. So I think he's just talking about the actualization, which like the whole infinite and finite paradoxes to like the not paradoxes. It inclines to the virtual and the actual.
Right. The thing I want to keep on proving. I want to prove the virtual. I just don't know how to. I just know how to bring it up as an alternative right now.
I would want to too. It's just such a cool concept.
Because I hold to act virtuality instead of act potency. So that's what I usually, whenever somebody brings up act potency, I say I don't hold to act potency. I hold to act virtuality. I just need to figure out how to.
Yeah. Also, I want to attribute the snark. I think that's so interesting. Like how it I think his philosophy on language is really really good. Especially how he attributes to saying that you can say whatchamacallit, right? And certain attributes, and we can still have some sort of representation upon what we're defining our object to be. And that change is dependent upon like it lacks an external and an internal sense there, as in such as that or I shouldn't say the expression, but the proposition's undefined and the representation's undefined. The same like the subject and the predicate are undefined. And when I say whatchamacallit, but obviously it's the verb, it's internal, it's something that can change there. So I think that type of language there imbues to like obviously like a really cool system that probably it's better than a global expressive system. Maybe not as like formally framed, but I think I can formally frame it to be good.
Okay, hold on. So potency is incomplete. Act is fully realized. I'm looking at something. I'm just looking. I'm doing a comparison chart. I need to make a dichotomy. But the virtual is real, but not actual. And the actual is real, but specific expressions of the virtual. Okay, so I think the breaker is, oh my god, I think virtuality is a stronger potentiality. Potentiality depends on the actualization to be real, and it could exist, it's defined by the lack thereof. But the virtuality doesn't lack anything. In some way, because remember, it has to come
I see where you're going through it, but I don't know if I 100% agree. I probably have to rewrite. I gotta reread what he means by the ion, but I mean, I see what you're going through. Like it obviously, Oh, sorry. Hold on.
I'm trying to make it
But
symmetry
anyways,
bigger.
yeah. So, yeah, like he would describe the Eon to be like where everything's contained such that it's unchanging, and obviously he would describe that to have like if you just describe that to be real, as and such, then I mean, yeah. Right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That's why-
So you would say that, yeah, like it'd be kind of weird to say that potency is real in some sense there, such as that it's actual if actualization is just real. So, I mean, you could say it's a stronger potency or consistency there. I get what you're saying there.
It's stronger than possibility. I mean, potentiality. I meant to say.
Yeah.
Because the real was always, and I mean, the virtual was always real. The potency is just a possibility. It could exist or could not. But we're not saying it could or could not exist in the virtual because it already exists. So that's why I have to hold that it's actually. That's why I'm an eternalist in some way, because the plane of immanence always existed. It's always exist. It's like the virtuality was always eternal. It's infinite, right? Potency isn't infinite. It's not eternal. It doesn't always exist, but it's still real.
Right.
So in that sense, you would say it fails. You would say I mean you would say it's like not the same. Hold on. Oh yeah. You want to know something else?
What?
Potency says not yet actual, but that just means reality is defined on what it is not. And Deleuze just denies that. You remember? Within the
I mean, he has his own configuration of it. Yeah.
He doesn't hold to the Hegelian negation. He doesn't think.
He goes to the actualization. Yeah.
Yeah, the affirmation, the actualization, all that. But affirmation.
Affirmation.
Yeah. So he says we don't hold things to be having this internal negation, like dialectical contradictions and everything has like an internal negation. He thinks that everything has an affirmation and being is not going to be the lack of, right? So he doesn't think anything has lack of being, it's production. And in that sense, I think he would go against potency.
Well, yeah. I mean, he already does because like when he called it like the classical sense of potency transcendental or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, he rejects that system. Yeah, he does that in his book.
Shall I ask for?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he rejects it. Yeah.
Right. He rejects any transcendental. He believes in the immanence. So
right.
That's why Plato and a lot of other people fail against him too. And whatchamacallit, transcendental idealism fails as well.
You know what I want to do? I want to like remember when I was doing ontological engineering. I want to like finish Deleuze and then finish ontological engineering and like make a conceptual model of like Deleuze's framework.
Well, I'm ontologically engineering an argumentation framework for him, but yeah, I see what you're going.
Yeah. If I could configure that, then I think I'd like 100%. Like I think I 10 times would more understand than like I would 10 times understand more than I wouldn't make a conceptual model.
No, like totally.
Once I finish all his work, obviously. But I want to finish his works, and all the inspirations he has, and who was the other dude? I forget. Partner. Forgot what his name is. Yeah, his partner, Deleuze's partner.
Oh, you're talking about somebody who did a book with him, Guattari?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes Guattari.
Yeah, no, I've seen Guattari fans. I mean, what's it called?